Hey guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Warriors Steve Kerr hints at urgent Tracy Jackson Davis, Moses Moody decision ahead of playoffs. So much for Sunday's humiliating loss to the Boston Celtics, stalling the Golden State Warriors' momentum. The Dubs outclassed the Milwaukee Bucks at Chase Center on Wednesday in one of their finest efforts of the season, blowing out Giannis Antetokounmpo, Damian Lillard and company 125-90 in front of a raucous home crowd. Tracy Jackson Davis shined brightest for the Warriors, rescuing his team from a second-half letdown with a game-changing stint in the third quarter once Milwaukee cut a 20-point lead to 6. The rookie big man enjoyed separate sequences of blocking Giannis Antetokounmpo on one end and finishing with a dunk on the other, his rim protection and gravity as a roll man looming extremely large against one of the biggest teams in basketball. Moses Moody flashed once again, too, despite moving back to the bench due to Andrew Wiggins' return from a 4-game personal absence. While he wasn't as impactful as Jackson Davis, Moody's dogged on-ball defense of Damian Lillard and all-around physicality was a continuation of the progress he showed while filling in for Wiggins as a part-time starter on Golden State's 3-1 road trip. Moody had already earned a lasting spot in the Warriors' rotation, taking all of Dario Saric's minutes against Milwaukee. But Jackson Davis, who got off the bench ahead of Kevin Looney after intermission, is also now in line for a regular nightly role, the most significant aspect of a major, imminent personnel shift Steve Kerr discussed after the game. "There's gonna be matchups where we need Looney," he said. "I know I can trust him, but we gotta get Tracy more minutes to get him ready for the playoffs. He needs reps, he needs more time. You can see what he did tonight. He has an ability to finish and to block shots that gives us a different look, so we decided to ramp up his minutes and slide Moses into a bigger role as well. Those guys were both fantastic tonight, I thought." Kerr has maintained all season that he would prefer to play a 10-man rotation. He's gone 11 deep often of late, though, an acknowledgement of his team's rare depth amid its stunning midseason turnaround. Don't count on that continuing as the stretch run of 2023-24 dawns. It'll more than likely be 10. "It's hard to play 11, Kerr said of the Dubs' rotation. "I know we've been playing 11, but if we're gonna ramp Tracy's minutes up, then it's more likely gonna be 10. We'll just try to mix and match. We feel like we've found some combinations. We're 3/4 of the way through with the season, so we've got a pretty big sample size of the different combinations out there. I think we're in a good spot now where we're able to put together the starting group, which has done a great job here the last month or so, and a second group now that we're fully healthy with a lot of really talented players. You saw that tonight, the bench was terrific. Golden State's starting 5 is set in stone. So are reserve roles for Klay Thompson, Chris Paul and Gary Payton too. With Jackson Davis and Moody primed for regular minutes going forward, that leaves Looney and Saric on the outside looking in at the Warriors' rotation. Size, or lack thereof, has been an issue for the Dubs throughout the season. Mothballing both Looney and Saric only makes this team more diminutive, with perimeter spots reserved for smaller guards who lack explosive athleticism and the likes of Wiggins, Thompson and Payton set to play a lot of de facto power forward. Draymond Green and Jackson Davis comprise the shortest center duo in basketball. Needless to say, Golden State will need to play bigger than its collective height and weight to offset Looney and Saric moving to the bench. It's not like those guys are elite rim protectors or high-flying alley-oop finishers, though. The Warriors can account for their absence by making multiple help efforts while flying around defensively and all 5 players committing to cleaning the glass, a challenge Green suggests will be made easier by their depth assuring no one is stretched past his physical limits. "I think Steve is doing an incredible job of not only monitoring minutes, but finding the right combinations to make those minutes as powerful as they can be," he said. "It's on us as players that when you're out there you give everything you got. Don't take plays off, because you're not playing a bunch of minutes anyway. I think that's one of the beautiful things about this," Green continued. Everybody, when you're out there on the court, you should be flying around and jumping off the wall because you're not playing a million minutes, so give everything you got when you're out there. Warriors' Gary Payton too reminds NBA of Tracy Jackson Davis, warning they're regretting it. Tracy Jackson Davis was not at all a slouch back when he ravaged the Big Ten Conference with the Indiana Hoosiers. He was always a threat to everyone in college basketball. So, it came as a shock to him and to many that he fell a lot in the 2023 NBA draft. Now, he has kept that chip intact on his shoulder and even had an insane game against the Giannis Antetokounmpo-led Milwaukee Bucks. This awesome performance turned the head of Gary Payton too. When asked about a certain social media post by Tracy Jackson Davis, Gary Payton too had a very simple response, via Warriors on NBCS. "I promise you, they're regretting it now because he's playing like a third year. He's picking up things a lot, and when, you've got the greatest on your side, it's kind of easy to fall in line and get a feel of how OGs play," he declared. The tweet shown to the Warriors guard was one posted during the night of the 2023 NBA draft. "Y'all will regret it. I promise you," were the words of the aspiring draftee before he landed with the Warriors. Since then, he has been on an upward trajectory due to the help of Steve Kerr along with other coaches and teammates. Payton added that there was something different that set TJD and other Warriors young guns apart. "He understands and he knows who to get the ball to and how to protect each other's backs. He's learning every day and going uphill. It's great to see that from all our young guys," he said. All of his efforts and psychotic work ethic are now slowly paying off as the Warriors inch closer to the postseason. Giannis Antetokounmpo was doing the best that he could to close the huge gap between the Bucks and the Warriors. He scored 23 points, grabbed 7 rebounds, and even dished out 6 assists. But only Damian Lillard and Bobby Portis Jr. managed to back him up. The Warriors, on the other hand, saw Stephen Curry pop off but involve his teammates a lot more. Curry had 29 points, while leading the team with 8 rebounds. He also saw 5 other players reach double-digit scoring numbers. Brandon Podziemski and Payton were also just a bucket away from extending this list. But it was not just the offense that set the Warriors apart. They blazed up for 32 points in the fourth quarter while also just allowing 9 points from their opponents. This was a big bounce-back performance after losing by 52 points to the Boston Celtics. Draymond Green makes his thoughts clear about Bob Myers. For years, the Golden State Warriors were the team to beat in the NBA. Of course, a lot of that had to do with Stephen Curry's surge, but there was an architect and unsung hero behind closed doors. Even though he wasn't responsible for drafting some of them, Bob Myers managed to keep the band together and made sure to keep the kind of players their championship core needed to succeed. On top of that, he was perhaps the only player who could legitimately tame Draymond Green's character. Considering that, Green talked in length about Myers' impact on his career, going as far as to say that he didn't know where he would be if it wasn't for him, via Warriors on NBC Sports. "His name will be up there in the rafters. If it wasn't for him, I'm not sure where I'd be," Green said. Myers' departure may have been the first step of the beginning of the end of the dynasty for the Warriors. Some think Myers foresaw the Warriors' downfall and left right on time, others state it was just time he took a step aside. Whatever the case, Green is not overstating things when he says that the Warriors should honor him and put his name in the rafters at Chase Center at some point. He should go down as one of the best and most successful general managers in recent NBA history, and while he seems to be comfortable in the new step of his career, it wouldn't be shocking to see multiple teams making a run at him soon. And you, fan, what do you think of the situation Bobby Myers? Leave your opinion in the comments.